James, what attracted you to this script?
Well, I think Steve put it quite well. I think what ultimately attracted me to the script was the fact that there's this character that is prejudged by everybody else as being a negative force in the world, and actually he's very positive. And he doesn't judge himself negatively. Everybody else does. His brother does. The world does. And I think we do that in life. I've done that plenty of times in life with myself. I'm really hard on myself. I'm hard on other people. And yet I'm an optimist. And this guy's a supreme optimist, and I'd like to be like Will. So it was fascinating for me to go down that road with him. And it was a very fine line of taking someone who's got such pure love and follow somebody, but he's not stalking them, you know. And yet it was the hardest part I ever had to cast as a director, because here's a guy who he's got to be optimistic, he's got to be vulnerable, he's also got to be able to survive on the street. He can't be a gym actor, so that you think he's going to kick everybody's ass when he goes into the bar, but he can grab the guy's hand, and just for a second, you know, he can survive. And yet at the same time, he's following this girl, and it's probably not the right thing to do, but at the end of the day, it's not the wrong thing to do. It's what he does. And he's not a dangerous person. So it was a fascinating character study. And then to take that further with all the couples and the relationships, because it's all about relationships, and to see the first couple in the car, you think at first they don't get along with each other, and they truly love each other. And then you see Richard and Blythe's character, who they think that they don't get along with each other, and they truly and purely love each other. And the same thing with Tom and his character, but they're friends, and they truly love each other. And then you see this guy, Aaron, who makes one mistake. Like, I don't know about anybody else in the audience, but I've done things in my life that I've regretted that I've done, and it usually happens just like that. And in this case, he does it, and it changes his life forever. And so there's just so many different emotional things going on. And then, of course, there's Rachel's character, who, having a wife who's an actress, daughter who's an actress, my friends who are actors, they go through this whole evaluation, and then they're really hard on themselves, and they despair about themselves, and they really want to give, and they really don't know where they belong and how they're supposed to be. It was just there was so many complications. So as a guy who's been an actor and loves to direct actors, it was. I almost would rather hear how Tom found the movie, because there was a little bit of serendipity going on with how Tom came to us, because Tom found us before we found him. And
how does that happen, Tom?
How did that happen?
James just reminded me of the story.
Yeah.
A friend of mine had the script on his floor when I was staying on the sofa at his apartment. I read it and I thought, I could do it better than he could, so I called up James.
The audition me. It's a very good story.
Yeah, no, he is.
Is it that easy?
No.
For you, I mean, what are the process? Like, what's the next step? I mean, what did you have to do to really get their attention? I mean,
I know. I mean, they were kind enough to let me audition. Unfortunately, they foolishly maybe saw something, and let me be in it. It was genuinely that simple.
Tom's being sort of humble about this, or generous to us. We were looking at a lot of actors, and we got a call from a very good agent saying there's a young man named Tom Sturridge who'd like to come in. And James and I were like, Tom Sturridge? We don't really know him. And he loves the script. And we're thinking, I don't remember us sending a script to Tom Sturridge. Oh no, I think he knows the script. So we got worn down and said, all right, let's have Tom Sturridge come in and read the script. And honestly, we probably met 100 people. And it's not that you get jaded, but we were a little jaded at that point. And Tom saunters in and sits down and totally blew us away. And then we're like, well, how did you get the script? Because we didn't send it to you. And then he proceeds to tell us he was camped out on someone's couch and he was bored and he picked up the script and read it and loved it. Called his agent and said, I want this one. And so that's, the serendipity of just him finding a script on a couch, and the next thing you know, here he is in the movie. lets you know how showbiz can work.
And perhaps fighting for what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Rachel, how did you come to the project?
Hi. I had read the script and I was really drawn to the story and the characters and how well written it was and how many layers there were to so many of the characters, which is unique and you don't find that very often. So I was very excited about the script, and I was lucky enough to meet with James and Trevor initially. Were you there the first time? Yes, you were. Good. And we hit it off when we talked about the film and sort of were on the same page, and we went from there. I was very lucky and happy to be a part of it, so thanks for watching.
When I first read the script, when I was quite old, almost kind of continue at the moment, like whenever I felt or feel kind of shitty, I used to like walk down the street and look for a puddle and like stick my face in the puddle. And I just remember, like, just because like if everything in the world is kind of fucked up, it doesn't really matter as long as you kind of feel wet on your face. And I remember reading it thinking like, Will probably feels kind of similar to that. And so that's how I get wet on my face when I cry. I don't know, you just kind of have to look into the actor who's acting with you and hope they're looking at you honestly, and then you can react honestly back to them. And if that helps, fine.
Trevor, how do
I mean, basically, I was introduced to a circus guy, a circus trainer, about sort of 4 weeks before we started shooting, who attempted to teach me how to juggle. Which didn't really go very well, and at the end of the script there's this extraordinary last page, which basically, I'm going to misquote Steve, but essentially says, and then Will does the greatest piece of juggling humanly imaginable. If you watch this piece of juggling, you will cry, laugh, your stomach will roll, and your eyes will bleed. And so, having done these 4 weeks of training, kind of kept going back to this page, going like, I'm still struggling with 2 balls, Steve. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. And I remember we got to the last, literally we filmed the last scene on the last day. And there were all these, we filmed it in Utah, and there were all these extras who were like really excited to be part of a film. And they were really cool guys, and I started juggling the final scene, which is supposed to be incredible. And I was juggling a bit, and I could sort of see the ADs go around and go like, listen, this is supposed to be the greatest thing you've ever seen in your life, so like, just, you know, react appropriately. These guys are going like, God, this guy is shit. And then suddenly, there's that final bit where I get the fire out, and I literally, like, these people who really, really wanted to be in a film, the moment they saw me pick up this fire stick, were like, fuck this man, like, I've seen him before, like, I'm fucking out of here. And you can just see all these people just fucking leave the set. Yeah, so I'm terrible at juggling, and I want to thank my double.
Then you have a great achievement.
Yay for double.
Let's take like 2 more questions, if there are. Yes, go ahead.
Whose idea was the pajamas? To wear pajamas?
Whose idea was the pajamas?
I have a good friend in Los Angeles who just wears pajamas. And yeah, a nephew, but this guy's 54. I mean, he just wears. But that's it, you know. You just they are loose and they're comfy and they're cheap. So it seemed like a good idea to start off with. And the hat, by the way, that was totally you. So I mean, there, in answer to the script question, it can change, you know, in a blink. And now the hat is almost like a symbol of the show. The hat and the heart. I love that poster. Yeah.